Hey, how's it going? This is Zyack and you're watching TGN.TV. Welcome to episode 2 of Zyack Stories, the series where I talk about memories of my World of Warcraft experiences while having random gameplay which was gathered during the week but hasn't made it into a video of its own. For this episode, I will talk about my guild leading experiences. I have had about 4 guilds that I have made in World of Warcraft, 2 that got raiding, 1 social guild, and 1 that was an attempt at raiding but didn't work as intended. The first guild was the most successful and most enjoyable, so will be the guild that I cover in this story. My first guild was called Alive on Silvermoon server. I had created it near the beginning of the Burning Crusade and it went on for a few months. It was a time in the game where I had the most stressful time as I tried to tackle the whole guild by myself, which may have led to the guild disbanding, but it was still a really enjoyable time for me. In the Burning Crusade, when my brother decided to quit World of Warcraft, leaving me with his paladin, I quickly respec'd to protection and got myself to a standard to raid Karazhan. I tried looking for a raiding guild, but the guilds that would accept me raided while I was unable to play, and the guilds that had good times for me wouldn't accept me because of my age. I really wanted to raid, and at this point pick-up groups were unheard of. The best option for me was to make my own guild. My initial thoughts were, how hard can it be? Sadly it was slightly harder than I had expected, but it did pay off. I created the guild on a Sunday, aiming to make the first raid on the upcoming Wednesday as it was a reset for the European servers. I thought for about 15 minutes before deciding to make a guild. It would have been shorter, but my computer was horrible and the lag meant it took me 15 minutes to travel a usual 10-minute journey to the guild creating an NPC. The most time thinking about the guild was spent when I was thinking of a guild name. I am completely rubbish at names for anything. The only way I could get names was by thinking to myself, I'm going to die of boredom before I get a name, leading to me saying, how am I still alive after this? Which gave me the name Alive. Not the best name, but it worked. It took me about 20 minutes to find people to sign the guild charter. Once I had done that, I quickly ran back to Stormwind and turned in the charter. First thing I did was remove all the low levels so it would look a bit more professional, followed by filling in the guild information and making a guild tabard. I decided that I would spend the next day for recruiting, as I had only about 1 hour to go before I had to log off, and I wanted to spend time getting to know each of my raiders to try and make it feel a bit more welcoming. On the Monday I ran home from school to log on to begin recruitment. During that day at school I considered what setup I would bring. I would go with 2 tanks, 3 healers, 2 melee DPS, and 3 ranged DPS. I never thought of what classes, but I knew that I would off-tank for a while and have a warrior main tank. The rest of the spots were first come first serve. I logged in and made a macro stating that we would start raiding on Wednesday, what roles I needed, and what our planned times were. It took me about 20 minutes to get the first whisper, but they were talking on behalf of him, a melee DPS, and his 2 friends, a priest healer and a warrior tank. It took me 2 minutes before I joined Skype with them to talk to all 3 of them. 10 minutes later they had joined. It took me the rest of the night to fill the DPS spots on 1 healer, leaving Tuesday to get 1 healer and some voice communicating device, which made me really happy. Tuesday came. When I got home I had in-game mail from the first member that joined saying that he had a Ventrilo server that we could use if he could be made a core raider in the guild. Obviously I had to accept his offer as he seemed to be trustworthy. It also meant that I had to just focus on getting a healer for that night. It took me 4 hours until I got a healer, but he was good geared, full Karazhan gear, which meant he could help me with the raid leading if it was needed. By the end of Tuesday, we were in full swing for raiding. I told everyone to sign up for the raid and find out tactics if they had time before logging off. The first raid night. I log on 20 minutes before the raid is supposed to begin and notice we are down 1 healer. Just my luck, it was a good geared healer. Great, now what do? I decided that we would just have to try with a pug. 15 minutes before the raid starts, I begin the invites. 9 people in the raid with them starting to log into vent as well. I got to Stormwind to try get a healer. I was looking for 0 experience just to get going as well as I would be able to explain the tactics, so I thought it would be okay. Luckily, about 2 minutes before the raid time, I got a healer. We all progressed to Karazhan to get going. We enter the instance, and for the memories, we take guild screenshots just before attacking anything. Sadly, this was on my old computer, so I am unable to share it with you. While I am marking the first trash bag, someone asked on Ventrilo, How many bosses do you think we can get done tonight? This was my first time in here. I didn't know how hard the bosses were, so thought I would play it safe and say 4, but we will try as much as we can. We battle our way through the trash towards the first boss. It was an amazing feeling leading the group, but an even better feeling as it was the first raid without my brother sitting beside me, guiding me the way through. All the decisions were mine to make. It was great. The first boss went well. I explained the tactics as best as I could before pulling. I decided to tank the horse for the fight, giving the human to the warrior, as well as the warrior tanking the boss when they mount up. We pull the boss. My heart is racing. It's my first tanking experience in a raid situation. One screw up and 9 others would die, as well as giving a bad name to the guild. It went well and we killed him without any deaths. While I am dishing out the loot using the /roll method, some people go for a break. 5 minutes later we are ready to show Karazhan what we are made of. We raided for 3 hours, only 2 wipes which I was impressed with. I was even more impressed as we got 6 bosses down on our first night. We planned to raid the next night and asked the pug healer if he wanted to come. He was unable to come as he had work, so I started looking for a replacement. I had found the replacement 15 minutes before logging off. The next night we got raiding again and cleared the instance, missing out Nightbane and Netherspite. We continued raiding weekly, clearing Karazhan each week. About 3 weeks in, our protection warrior had to leave for work commitments, which meant I had to find another tank. I decided that my gear was now strong enough to main tank, so I found another protection warrior that was slightly lower gear, but was willing to off tank. We eventually got 2 raid teams going, which meant I had to get another raid leader in the guild. One of the members from the first raid team decided he wanted to lead, so I made him officer and he started recruiting for his team. It took him 2 weeks to get his team together, before quickly progressing to the same level as the core team. The guild was going great, but then came the issue, converting into 25-man raiding. This is what killed the guild. I desperately wanted to progress in 25-man, but forgot about my priorities. 2 weeks in a row, raids were called off because I was trying to get members. What I didn't realize was I was slowly killing the guild. For every member that joined, 2 would leave. It took 3 weeks before the guild finally called it quits. I was gutted. I enjoyed leading a team into battle, but I was just too greedy. One of the core raiders in my guild decided to form another guild with a friend of his. He asked if I wanted to join as raid leader. I thought that it would be a great idea. I could focus on leading raids while not having to worry about recruitment, and so we continued. We went strong as a raid team into 25 mans and cleared Tempest Keep. It was about this time that I was about to go on holiday, so dropped my position as raid leader to someone else. When I had returned, I was guildless and couldn't contact the guild leaders, so my time as leader had ended here. It was a great time in World of Warcraft, but I am glad the stress is over with.